Welcome to Driven, the Unscripted Success podcast, with your hosts, Mike Menino and Nariman Hamden, bringing you insights and stories on achieving personal, professional, and financial success.
Hey guys, I'm Nariman Hamden, and this is Driven, Unscripted Success podcast. We have an awesome guest on today. We have Jennifer Ann Johnson. Jennifer is the owner of True Fashionistas, which is the largest lifestyle resale store in Florida. And she's also a renowned small business coach who empowers small businesses to achieve their goals without sacrificing their well-being. She was once a national model and actress. She pivoted to build a 50 million resale empire with True Fashionistas, which is, again, one of the largest lifestyle and resale stores in Florida. Jennifer knows the struggle of juggling business growth, personal branding, and a life you love. So she has built a roadmap for success. She is an author, a coach. She has her own podcast called the Confident Entrepreneur Podcast. She's a Gulf Shore Life Businesswoman of the Year honoree, Small Business Association Emerging Leader, Distinguished Entrepreneur Nominee in Leadership, Florida participant. She's been on featured on Inside Edition, Home Delivery, and countless national TV and radio shows. So I'm going to bring Jennifer on. How are you, Jennifer?
I'm fabulous. How are you today?
I'm awesome. Thank you so much for zooming in all the way from my backyard of Naples. So
what a connection.
I mean, what a small world, huh?
Who knew?
Right. So, why don't you start off by telling us a little bit about what you do and how you got started in this business?
Sure. Well, actually, it started way back 25 plus years ago. I started with a retail store, it was a wedding and event planning business and bridal shop that I started out of my house. And I did it because I got married and I went, oh my God, this is so easy. I can do this. And no, it wasn't easy, but I was young. I was naive. I had a dream and I started it. And 16 years ago, we sold that business. Well, 16 years ago, we moved to Florida and we ended up selling the business after I ran it absentee for about a year and a half. And then about 15 years ago, I started True Fashionistas. And really the premise for me starting the store was kind of a memory from growing up. I grew up on a dairy farm in central Minnesota, the second oldest of 6 kids, and we didn't have any money. We hardly had enough money to put food on the table. So that means Jennifer, who loved fashion, was not going to get clothes. I could sit and look at fashion magazines all day long and play with my dolls and all that, which I did. But I never got new clothes. And my grandma and I, and sometimes we'd bring my mom, would go garage sailing on Saturdays because that's up north when garage sales were.
Sure.
And we would find clothes that fit or didn't fit, and she would remake them, whatever she had to do. Those are the new to me clothes. And it didn't really dawn on me until before we left Minnesota that this was something that I really loved doing. And when we moved here to Florida, there was nothing like I had envisioned in my head. In my head, I had a concept for a store that would not only have really high-end stuff, but would also have mid-market things, something that appealed to everyone. And nothing was here. So I created it. I could have gone the route of doing a franchise model that wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, but would, scratch the itch per se. But that wasn't in me. I'm a creator. I like to create things. I like figuring it all out, even though in the moment it may be tough, but you figure your way through. And that's really honestly how it all started.
That's fantastic. I've been to your store several times. My sweater and my cardigan and my tank are actually from your store. They're St. John, which is a brand I absolutely love. And I'm not going to say where the little sneaky rack is in your store because I pop in there once a month to go through it, and I always hit gold there. Because I don't think too many people are familiar with it, or they think it's an old dated line, which works for me because I'm finding my size is there, and I'm like, perfect, yes. So I'm very happy. And then you do, I mean, the furniture, you also have added the furniture in there as well and the accessories, which you have beautiful pieces there.
We
Um,
do, we do.
yeah, and like you said, you do have, I mean, it's you have high-end items. I mean, all the way up to Louis Vuitton, Prada, whatever, Gucci, down to, like the Coastland Mall shops for the
Right.
teeny boppers. So there is something there for everyone, and it's a fun store,
It
and
is.
your staff, your team that works there, they're always happy, smiling, they're always dressed really cute. So it's a fun atmosphere in there, I will say that. So let me ask you this. So what's one of the biggest challenges you've had to overcome in your career?
Was very early on. Very early on, I had a partner when we first started this. And I had the vision, she had the money because we hadn't sold our business yet. And a couple months into the business, and I actually talk about this in my book, but a couple months into it, she wanted out. She didn't want to do this anymore. She came knocking on my door at 10 o'clock on a Sunday night and said, "This is it. I'm done." So my husband and I looked at each other. We're like, well, we don't have the money to buy her out. What are we going to do? So he cashed out his 401k. We bought her out.
Wow.
She wouldn't sign a non-compete, which should have been a red flag. And it was, but there was nothing I could do about it.
Right.
Literally, we find out the next day she signs a lease on a space in the same center that we're in,
Mm.
10 stores away from me for the exact same business. She took all of my employees except for one and started a business very just like mine. Now, that was the toughest thing that I thought I would have to overcome.
I'm
And
sure.
there were other things, COVID was a big one, but in
Sure.
everything that I noticed was happening, and this wasn't like immediate. It took me years to look back at it in retrospect and go, wow, there was a lesson to learn there.
Sure.
I wouldn't be where I'm at today. The company wouldn't be where we're at today if it wasn't for all of those things happening. But that was probably the hardest, but one of the hardest, if not the hardest thing that I ever had to face because you lose trust and it's just all
Sure.
emotions at once.
Yeah. I mean, it's not only like a loss in the business transaction, it's a personal loss as well.
Right.
And
Friendship.
yeah, and it makes you question your gauge on how you read people. Like I thought we were friends, first of all.
Right.
I thought we were like-minded and, I trusted this person, and how did I misplace that trust? So it makes you vulnerable,
It does. That's
and
exactly it.
and second guess your
Yeah.
decisions,
That's
but,
exactly
but
it.
I'm glad, I mean, you clearly made it through. Thankfully, you persevered. So I'm not sure whatever happened to her, but you definitely came up on top. So congratulations on that. So what's a skill or habit that doesn't get enough credit for contributing to your success?
Oh my goodness. A skill or habit. Well, I'm all about creating my time. I call it founder's time. And what that means is I set aside time every week to do things that I may not always like to do, but know that I need to do. It's critical for the business. So I have a calendar actually on my wall in front of my computer that says Monday, I'm going to do this, Tuesday, and so on and so forth. And on Friday, I intentionally leave it blank because that is my day to do whatever it is that I need to get done, whatever straggling pieces. And it could be just a me day. It could be a recharge me day.
Sure.
But what I find is that I get up early, and getting up early is the key for me. I work out and I immediately get down to work.
Yeah.
I have a few hours of completely uninterrupted time that I am in the zone, and it's usually from 5 to 7 a.m. But that founder's time is so critical. You need to bake that into your week because I do believe that it does contribute to success because you can get very clear and you can get so much done.
Yeah, and especially having that one day during the weekday, to be able to have that, no appointments, nothing scheduled in
Right.
there, where you can just go through the week and see what has been done, what needs to be done, and then plan for the future, or just relax, as
Yeah,
well.
it's so important.
So yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it's Fridays are so it's mornings I've got things to catch up on, and then by the early afternoon I could kind of navigate to exactly what you're doing where, okay, there's no appointments. I can
Yeah,
just go through and see what's happened and what's to come, so
exactly.
absolutely. So, how do you deal with taking risks? Is there a time when you took a risk and it didn't work out for you?
Oh, there have been many. One of the most notable, however, we were being wooed by a national mall to come into their center, to their mall, an outdoor mall, to have a store. And I remember talking to my husband, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, they want us. We're in. This is so exciting."
Right.
He was like arm's length. He's like, give it, no, 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 no. Let's think this through. He's very cautious. And I am really quick to pull the trigger. He's the money guy. I am not. I'm all the other things. And he's like, we need to, think about, I'm like, no, 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 no. And I kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And we did the deal. And I remember it was the day before we opened. The mall manager sat us down and said, "Oh, we got a problem. There's three key brands that you carry that you can't carry." And I'm like, "You never told us this. This wasn't, par for the course."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Well, it's just come to our attention, so on and so forth." And so we negotiated a deal with them that normally when you are in a lease with these big companies, it's a lot of like, you're not getting out of this. You personally guarantee it and all this. We said, we're going to have the ability to give a 30-day notice, and then we're out at any given point during this because of that issue. I almost fell off my chair because they said yes. And it was a blessing in disguise. And now I know why my husband was dragging his feet. And we were out of there within 9 months.
Wow.
It wasn't, sometimes we let our ego get in the way. And it was
Oh,
ego
absolutely.
get in the way. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, we're the coolest thing since sliced bread. No, you're not. You're
Right.
not. When you walk into the room and feel you've arrived, you're done.
Yeah.
And you can't, that could never be the case. And I've now, I mean, that was many, many years ago, 10 or plus years ago. And I do things much differently now.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. And I understand that, being a little bit impulsive and excited about new opportunities that come through. I'm the
Mhm.
same way where my business partner will say to me, hold on a sec. I know you get excited about things,
Right.
but what about C and D? Comes
Oh, I didn't
after
see
A and
those.
B. And I'm like, what do you mean? But A and B are this, so I totally get it where I'm learning to slow down as well and kind of take a little bit more time on, reevaluating it all, taking it all in, listening to what he has to input, and he's always right.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Darn it.
okay, you're right. Back to the drawing board. But, it's better than going through with it and then being
Right.
stuck. So I
Exactly.
totally understand that. So, everyone, well, I guess you already went over that one. What's staying on top of any field is tough, and especially with resale and
Mhm.
being in Southwest Florida. Um, so what sets you apart from other resale stores or other consignment shops?
Sure. So what really sets us apart is the fact that, again, we're not just high end, we're not just mid market, we are all of it. So you can shop thousands of stores in one store because we also even have furniture. And
Yes.
most places are clothing or their furniture. They don't combine both. And I believe in combining both. It really is sort of our secret sauce. And the other part of that is also the fact that 100% of our merchandise is on our website. So that means whether you're shopping furniture, you're shopping clothing, we can ship anywhere in the country, and we do. And that's those two combinations are really what helps us grow our business. And then, moreover than any of those two things, it comes down to the people that work here. It comes down to the teammates that are here
Sure.
because they're really the secret sauce. And
Absolutely.
you have to find people. I learned a really valuable lesson during COVID. And that was that you need to take the time to step back to look into your business, to see what's working, what's not working, and all about core values and
Sure.
hiring on core values and making sure that the people that you hire align with your core values, because if they don't, they're not going to work out.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. So I'm sure, leading a team has its challenges. Speaking of that, so what's your leadership style? And can you give us an example of how it helped you through a tough spot?
Sure. I'm very hands-on. I like to be involved in the trenches, but yet I have learned through the years that I can come in and be like, I'm going to do this, but I have to back off. I have to allow my team to do their thing. I can't be hovering. I have to expect but inspect that they're doing
Sure.
their job. There was a time in my life where I wasn't like that and I would just swoop in and do it all, and then I wasn't teaching anybody anything. My true belief is that I can teach you how to do something, and then I back out and get out of the way and let you do what you do, because you're going to grow so much more as a person, as an individual, as an associate, if I tell you what the process is and you do it, than if I'm there doing it for you or walking you through it or hovering all the time. So I'm hands-on to a point because I like to be in the trenches. I do
Yeah.
everything in this company, but I don't do it on a daily basis because I know my team is here doing it and doing it way better than I could.
Sure, absolutely. And that's why you hire them, and you have to delegate. Well, you find out exactly what is each person's special niche that they are good at and that they love to do.
Yes,
And
exactly.
then you have to encourage them, to flourish in that and go fly like a butterfly. And that's the only way they're going to build your company up, because
Exactly.
you're allowing them to be creative and think outside the box, and it builds their confidence at the same time, like, oh my gosh, this is my position. I have to do this. She's trusting me with this. So that's
It's
fantastic.
autonomy. It helps them own it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So how do you encourage your team to think outside the box and bring new ideas to the table?
Well, open door policy. You could come and give us suggestions. I mean, some of our best suggestions have come from our team members. So we have an open door policy. Tell us. But when you come to tell us an idea, have kind of the layout of how it should look. We always
Sure,
say don't come with a problem, come with an answer to the problem. So
sure.
come to us with any idea and we'll talk about it. Maybe we've tried it, it didn't work, or maybe we tried it once and we're willing to try it again, or oh wow, we've never tried that.
Yeah.
Just allow that autonomy again with your team to experiment and know that there's really no failures, there's just hiccups, which are learning opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a guest on last week, and we were, talking about the hiccups, and basically, if you don't have any failures, then that means you're not trying. Therefore, you can't succeed.
Exactly.
So, and that's part of it.
It
So
is.
for sure. Um, so you kind of gave us a run through of what you do on Fridays. So what's a day in your life look like, and how do you juggle work and everything else?
Oh my gosh. Well, get up and work out or my is really the first thing because I know that that will set myself up for success for the day. There was a book I read and I don't remember exactly what it was called, but it was by a general and it was something about making your bed and
Oh,
successful
yeah, yeah.
people make their bed. You probably know what it is. I can't remember the name of
I
it,
can't
but
think of the name of it either, but I know what you're talking about.
yeah, so I mean, I get up and I work out, and then I spend like an hour or so checking emails, doing certain things, and then I usually come into the store for a few hours, and then I'm back behind my desk coaching clients. So that means Zoom calls or phone calls, working with clients. I also do a lot of PR for my business, which has
Sure.
been really, really important. And you know what? I'm always working though. I find that I'm just constantly, my mind is always on. And as an entrepreneur, that's a good thing. It's also a detriment. It's kind of
Sure.
both. But that's a typical day is getting up, working out, checking emails, doing a few administrative things, going to the store for a few hours, and then working with clients.
Sure. So has there been a book, a podcast, or a person that's really changed your outlook or approach?
Oh my gosh, Begin with We by Kyle McDowell.
We by Kyle Medell.
Begin with We. It's a book about how you're not going to tell your employees to do something that you're not willing to do. And it's being entrenched with your team, yet giving them the runway, giving them the ability to do all of the things that you expect them to do, but it's cohesively as a team.
Sure.
And it's not putting yourself up on a pedestal. You're right shoulder to shoulder with them. Really, really powerful book. There's
Okay.
been many, but that's one of them.
Okay. I'll have to check that one out.
Power of One More by Ed Milet is amazing too.
What's that one about?
It's about doing, so you make one more phone call, you send one more text, you send one
Pushing
more
yourself.
email. You're just doing something that's just one more because
Sure.
that's setting yourself apart from everyone else.
Yeah,
It's
just
going
going
the
that
extra
extra
mile.
mile. Yeah, there we go.
Exactly.
So how do you tackle learning new things, especially stuff that's way outside of your comfort zone?
Oh my gosh, I'm doing that right now. I feel like I do this every day. So I'm finishing up my bachelor's degree, and right now I'm
Oh,
in
wow.
the middle of my senior thesis. And I'm a creative writer. I am not an academic writer, and it's challenging, but I'm embracing it with the mindset of what is there for me to learn here. That's how I tackle hard things. And we tackle hard things every day, whether it's an employee leaving your company and you having to fill a key role,
Mhm.
whether it is, the whole tariff situation that people have been facing, whatever it is, you're throwing stuff every single day as an entrepreneur. You have to figure out how to deal with it and how to work through it. But
Yeah,
moreover, what will get you through it is to see if you can figure out what that lesson is and be at peace with knowing, all right, bring me through this because I know there's something that I'm supposed to be learning here.
sure, sure. So, well, it sounds like things are going really well for you and your business. As you're looking towards the future, I'm wondering, how do you create passive income, or if you have invested in the past?
Sure. Um, well, passive income for me looks like I have an academy for outside of the store portion. My other business is coaching clients and professional speaking. So I actually have an academy, and it's the Confident Entrepreneur Academy where entrepreneurs can come on, and it's a monthly fee and they get coaching by me. We do 2 coaching calls a month, and they have my online courses. And
Okay.
I also, they can go on and do those courses at their leisure. So that is kind of passive income for me because people will log on, and I used to sell the courses a la carte, so you could just take them and do, whatever you chose to do. But I kind of baked that into more of a group coaching program, and so that's essentially my passive income. I've
Oh, that's
dabbled in
fantastic.
investing a little bit, but not a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And then with you turning it, also offering the group instead of the a la carte side
Mhm.
of it, of just grabbing whatever course they want out of there to benefit them. It creates kind of like a mastermind group,
It
you
sure
know,
does. Yes,
which
it
is kind of
does.
neat, where you get to bounce all those ideas off one another. And so I'm sure
Exactly.
that's got to be fun to do as well. Um, so if you have any advice for anyone that's looking to follow in your footsteps, what would it be?
Just do the damn thing.
That's simple.
At the
Just
end of the
do it.
day, we sit and vacillate so much on should I do this? Should I do that? We're kicking the tires, as my grandpa used to say.
Hmm.
And sometimes you just have to put one foot in front of the other and do it because
Right.
there's nothing like that experience of actually doing it. Because you may do something and go, God, I really hate this. And you didn't invest all this money in creating something that you really, truly don't like.
Right.
So dabble in it, do it, side hustle it, whatever it is you have to do to figure out if you actually like it, and then just do it. Because, it's like going to a conference and we sit down and take these copious notes. But then once you leave the conference, what do you actually do with those notes that you've taken? They become expensive words on paper because you don't take action. You don't do
Right.
something. And just do it. Plain and simple, just do it.
It's great advice. Just do it. So as we're wrapping up the interview, what exciting plans or initiatives you have for the next 6 to 12 months?
Sure. Well, I am actively booking speaking gigs across the country. I do a lot of professional speaking. So on that front, there's that, and then there's the growing the academy, and then on the storefront, we're actively looking for growing the retail store. We're looking at more locations, and
Exciting.
that's an exciting time.
That's very cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on. If anybody wanted to connect with you, how do they connect with you?
The best way is my website, which is jenniferannjohnson.com. My email is jennifer@jenniferannjohnson.com. I am on all the social media channels as Jennifer Ann Johnson, and you can also check out my podcast everywhere that you can download podcasts.
Awesome. And what is the name of your podcast again?
The podcast is The Confident Entrepreneur.
Awesome. And then you also have a book on Amazon?
Yes, it is Grace and Grit, Becoming a Confident Entrepreneur, and they can also get that on Amazon.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Driven, the Unscripted Success Podcast. Want to share your story? Apply to be a guest at drivensuccesspodcast.com/guest.